All right, there's some things that people are missing on the fuel filter swap that I really want to discuss on this. And so what I have is the fuel filter housing out here, so it's easier to see, not on the truck. Yours is located on the left side fuel rail of your truck if you have a 3.0 Duramax diesel LM2, LZ0, anywhere from 20 to the newest ones. But this is what we got. So this is just the bracket. Again, this is off of the truck right now. It's going to make it for a much easier swap installation instruction. So this is a new fuel filter. This is the part number right here. Links down below on Amazon. That's where I found my best prices on this. Now there are some aftermarket replacements available, which make things confusing. But basically when you get a filter, look for this made in Czech Republic right here, and or that GM part number. Yes, the bag does say made in USA, kit filter made in USA. I guess that means that they just put this in the bag here in the USA. Now it's going to come with the new O-ring on there already, and then it's going to also come with this bag of O-rings right here. And these are the critical O-rings that you need to swap out. And then I also have an aluminum cap right here that I got off of Amazon that we'll also discuss. But let's get into, if you just have a factory setup like this, what you're going to need to do is just grab a 36mm socket. I've got links down below for all this stuff, so it makes it easy. But you just need any 36mm socket like this. I like the low profile one of this one. And then it's also on a 3/8 drive, so I have it on an extension. And basically it's a pretty tight one. It feels pretty tight taking off, but that's only because it's locked up by this O-ring. So before you take this off, if you have any dirt and debris right here, just go ahead and clean all this off. And then there's also a drain plug right here on the bottom that you can remove if you want, like loosen it up. And then when you loosen this, what's going to happen is the fuel will start to leak out the bottom there, and it'll make for a much less likely of a mess when you're doing this. Now there is fuel in here, and that's what's going to come out. So when you take this off, you just unscrew it. It's real basic. This O-ring that you see right in front of you is a one-time use O-ring, and that's something people need to not skip because it comes in this filter kit. And then the other big thing is this O-ring right here. This comes off super easy. I just pinch it and then roll it, and just like that, it comes off. Now it's critical, the new O-ring that comes inside this kit right here, you need to swap that out, as does this one right here. So you can just pinch it like this and then just roll this O-ring up, and you can put a new O-ring on there. Now, as you can see, I already have a new filter on this because I had this ready to go on my truck, and we just messed it up. But for clarification purposes, this is totally perfect. So then just push up on this. I like to keep the bowl like this, keep everything down below. So then this is going to be dripping. You've got this out. This O-ring comes on the fuel filter already, no worries there. So then just set that aside. Now the bowl, it's critical to clean out all the debris in there. You're going to see some really weird stuff. Get it all out. Make sure everything is perfectly clean. And then what you can do is you can also get one of these aluminum ones right here. I got this off of Amazon. You can find them anywhere. It's roughly the same, but it's just aluminum, so it's going to last a little bit longer. It's not going to be cause any issues, I guess, is the theory on that. So what we're going to do is you take your new filter and just lubricate the O-ring a little bit. You can get some fuel from up in here just to kind of lubricate that, and that's going to allow you to slide that down in there. Now I already skipped a step, but the O-ring, you just want to get that down on there. Now if you look right there, that's not correct. See, that's super easy to mess up. But what it needs to be is one more down in the actual fuel filter O-ring spot. So don't let that fool you. Now that could happen even on this cap right there. So now we've got, we want to lubricate that, so you get a little bit of diesel fuel right there. Lubricate this. You need to make sure you swap your O-ring. So a new O-ring right on there. Roll that into place. And then I've got some diesel fuel that I'm lubricating with that. This is ready to go. A little bit there, and then you just go ahead and put it on straight. This is my first time using one of these caps right here. But I think it's nice because it's nice aluminum. It's going to be more rugged and stand up to heat and everything like that. So you can use the factory cap. Just make sure you clean this really well, or you can go to the aftermarket aluminum one. I also want to note one thing. This drain plug is loose, and that's the way that this came from brand new. So make sure you go in here and tighten this up. If you're going to be installing one of these, make sure you also tighten this back up if you're going with if you're sticking with the factory one. Everything needs to be good and tight. Don't trust anything. Always double check, triple check. There's nothing wrong with that. And you're basically going to need to use your 36mm socket once again and tighten this to 18 foot-pounds is what GM calls for on service information. However, the cap also notes on here 25 plus 5 Newton meters on there. So go ahead and do whatever you want, but 18 foot-pounds gets the job done, and that makes sure that you get that sealed up. Now make sure it goes all the way up and you can't see any of the O-ring. This is not tight, so just so you know, this is not tight, it's not ready to go. For visual purposes, this is the factory cap installed with no gap. Notice no gap. If you have a gap right here, or if there's major tightness on there, you need to lubricate the O-ring better and make sure that it's squeezed up nice and flush right there. Don't over tighten, 18 foot-pounds max, and this will be good to go. Then what you need to do is prime the fuel system. So you go into your truck. I'm gonna hold this button down. This is the start button. You can hear the pump priming right now, and they want you to let it go for 2 minutes. Ignore my service tire monitor. So in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and reset the fuel filter life. You can hear this thing going crazy. And what that's going to do is prime the fuel system. You'll hear the pump go. It's going to be a bunch of horrendous noises, and that's basically all the fuel pouring into the fuel filter housing, filling this up, and therefore priming the fuel system. So let that sit for a little bit and then turn it off. And then what you can do is go ahead and push the button again, fire it up. This time with your foot on the brake, it'll fire it up and go underneath the vehicle and check for any leaks. You want to make sure there's nothing pouring out right here. If there is, then obviously take it apart and see what your problem is. But there should be no issues as long as you follow the O-ring portion where the O-ring actually goes. Enjoy.